they should not protect the law side of it because of the circumstances. You went in the middle of the night, and when people are probably 95% of the time asleep.
Yeah, we gonna circle back around to this, but we gonna start up right now though.
Yeah,
real
it made no
quick.
sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's hecka wild. I don't even know how. Anyway, what's going on, Piglets? It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my flexible co-host Daniel, DJ, and oh shoot. Yeah. What's going on, Piglets? It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my flexible co-host Daniel and Joey. Welcome to another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. And before we go any further, be sure to click that follow or subscribe button. And remember, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Culture by the Uncultured. All right, boys, another week, another quarantine. You know how's it going out there?
That pretty much narrows it down. That sigh right there, just another week, another day.
I'm just glad we finally recording because we tried to record 5 days ago and we were having technical issues. So
we tried on
get at it.
We tried on Saturday, I think, and then we
Monday?
tried Monday, and freaking we finally here, man.
Hump day.
All right, first off, let's just dive into some music because there's a lot of music news and stuff going on in the music world. A couple albums that dropped. Futuristic. I don't know if you guys have heard of him or not. He dropped an album called Still on the Rise. A full album. It's pretty good. I actually saved a couple songs off there. One of my favorite songs off the album was Soul Searching. He's definitely a talented artist. He's, lyrical miracle. He can slow it down and kind of give you some melodies a little bit too. I really enjoy it. For me, I really enjoy his more the melody side, the melodic side of him, the darker tones that he kind of unleashes sometimes. I like when he rips and rhymes too sometimes, but I don't know why, but I prefer him to kind of be in his his soul or heartfelt bag.
Yeah, I never really heard of them, but it seems like it confused the hell out of me because when you first put that in, I think he misspelled future for a second there, but
almost certain that you have heard him, Daniel, just didn't remember the name or the face. So we're gonna have to look into a video after that.
He's like a Logic or Joyner type.
Yeah, and I believe he had videos on YouTube where he was like pretending to be somebody else but spitting.
He was pretending to be a nerd. Yeah.
Oh, right. He was pretending to be a nerd and just going crazy off.
Oh, he was a YouTube dude.
That's not how he started, but that was he did, I think, with like Big Dogs TV or something. He did like a YouTube video where like he walked around pretending to be a nerd, had like a little like unicorn on his shirt, like some nerd glasses, and then he was like, "Hi guys, mind if I spit some bars for you?"
Okay, yeah, I have heard of him then. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay. And just while we're on the music topic, shout out to Marlon Craft, been on Instagram and stuff, dropping heat lately.
The 16 a day,
bro. Just bars on bars. Marlon Craft been dropping heat. It makes me feel more blessed every day for us to go have seen him on one of his first live shows.
Absolutely.
Back. That's pretty cool. Who else? Larry June and Cardo dropped a project tape called Cruise USA. Quentin Miller dropped that Nah For Real. And then Russ, I don't know when this came out, but it recently popped up on my radar. Was Russ has this album Shake the Snow Globe. I don't know.
Oh no, that's old. Yeah, that must have been
it came out earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry, I'm slapping it now.
No, it's all good. It's a good album for sure. It's definitely a good album.
Now, but because that song with Rick Ross, I remember. Yeah, that's all I got for music.
Also, we got Future came out with the new album High Off Life. Pretty much anybody that I know that listened to it, even if they were a fan of Future, they were not messing with the album. Maybe like 3 or 4 songs max. The features. They got a Drake feature. He got a remix with Gunna or with Lil Baby and DaBaby. He's got a Travis Scott feature. It's nothing really dope or anything like that. There's no growth. There's no. He's not a super crazy lyricist or anything like that. He's not really interested bringing anything or introducing us to anything new in the music game. He's just Future. And that's
y'all about to see the future become the past real soon here.
Yeah. Can we just throw this man to the past, please? I'm over it, bro. He's been a lesser talent for a long time. Maybe people like his personality, but he's really showed his ass the last 3 to 5 years, if you know what I'm saying. The whole thing with his kids, hella baby mamas, drama left and right. He writes his girl Lori Harvey like this heartfelt message on Instagram. Then it's his son's birthday, and he's just like, "Love you, son." What? Bro, this girl came out of nowhere, just probably chasing your money and some fame, and you got this long old "Thank you for sticking by my side, thank you, blah 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 blah." But it's one of your kids' birthday, and you're just like, "Chip off the old block, love you, Future Junior." Whatever, bro. Keep it like it's just I don't just not like Future's music. I don't think I like Future. I don't,
Yeah,
maybe
he's
it's
definitely.
personal now.
I think it's definitely he's a taste more acquired towards people who go to the club. He's definitely not somebody that I see myself frequently visiting. I don't think I have but maybe 2 or 3 of his songs in my whole playlist of over like 1,000 songs.
He's
So
a seasoned fuck boy. That's what he is. He's a veteran in the game, bro. He's a veteran in the game.
yeah, I feel you on that. I don't really know how much more other music there is, but Joyner Lucas, he was able to remix the song "Will" and feature Will Smith, which was pretty dope actually. The feature that Will Smith gave us was phenomenal in my opinion. I didn't really think that the old guy had it in him. I know like a year or two ago he was going to go on tour again or something,
Mm.
and he just dropped a quick little video where he's just like kind of spitting for fun, and it was sounding pretty good. You could hear the old school in him, but it sounds good still. It's a good quality sound. And on this remix, he really shouts out the people that he kind of looked up to.
Right.
He shouts out, talks about his grandma and helping him shape his future. Talks about his own kids. Even says that he believes that Joyner's son is going to be great and stuff. It was a great and welcome addition to the song, in my
That's why
opinion.
it
And the
was
song was
raw,
already pretty
man.
good.
The flow is something that didn't surprise us. We know Will can rap, and he's not like he surprises with like extra fast or extra like metaphors or blah. He was spitting some raw stuff, some real stuff, some soul driven stuff. So all those words put together, just with the consistency that he was spitting it was raw, man. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was one of the rawest features remixes this whole year, and it was just on some "let me show love right back since you made a song about me. Let me hop on a remix."
Yeah, super wild.
Yeah.
What about you, Daniel? I know you're a fan of Joyner and Will Smith, I assume.
Uh, I really liked Will Smith's verse. Like I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Like as you guys have said. Um, but I remember growing up listening to Will Smith. Like Will Smith was like one of the first rap songs I ever had. It was with that Big Willie style album. I think I had that thing. I had that thing on tape. Like I, I, I don't know who
Dang.
had. I think it was from one of my sister's boyfriends at the time. Left it at the house, and I was just like, "Who is this? Is this the guy from that movie with the aliens?" And then I was like, "Oh, I really like this." But yeah, I've been following his rap career for a little bit now. But I really enjoyed him shouting out everybody like that. Like I wasn't expecting him to do that. I was expecting him to just throw everything back to Joyner. So I was definitely
Uh-huh.
surprised when he brought up Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was
I
definitely a
don't
dope
like how
year.
he said he
Hey
worships
man,
them though. I wasn't.
that that Big Willie style was heat though. That was Getting Jiggy with It was on there. Miami was on there. Bienvenidos a Miami.
Yeah,
What's that other song? And
um,
yeah, Just the Two of Us
just the
was
two
on
of
there. The
us. Yep.
remix, Big Willie style, the Men in Black tribute. That album was heat. Whatever.
Yeah. Moving on from the albums and singles that came out, just real quick, EDC is going to do a virtual concert on the 15th and 17th after COVID-19 postpones the festival to October. I don't know about you guys, but if I was going there, I'd be like, give me my money back. I'm
Give
not
it
wasting my
up.
time.
Thank you. Run me my ducats. Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah,
bro,
for real.
a virtual concert? Come on. They doing that for free on video games right now. Ain't no way in hell. I'm gonna be at home rolling balls in my in my house, my living room with my headphones in. I don't think so, bro.
Their movie's going to be in the middle of the
It
desert
defeats
out
the
in October.
purpose. I would say a strong 75 to 80% of guys that go to those festivals go for the chicks.
I,
Period.
I've never been to
If
one
you
of those
like, just
festivals. We'd have to ask Brandon that. So
bro,
Brandon, why? Did,
I that's just 100 girls in hardly almost any clothes, jean shorts, covered in paint, got beads everywhere, willing to just take it off and live free. Come on, fam. Like I'm 29 right now, but from the time I was 19 to 29, it ain't no difference. It's hoochies. It's that simple.
I think you might have that
Ain't
confused
nobody
with
trying to
Burning
do
Man.
no virtual. It's all the same, bro.
And I hate to bring this up again because I really don't like talking about this guy, but Tekashi 69 is making headlines again, uh, going crazy with the trolling and bringing drama to the music world. He in his latest escapades, he has come at Uncle Snoop, basically saying that he needs to apologize to his wife, releasing part of an alleged sex tape with Selena Powell. He tags his wife in it and everything. You know, Snoop Dogg had some choice words for him on Instagram. It was a little bit of a back and forth. That kind of de-escalated a little bit, and now we're seeing a Billboard situation happen. First and foremost, what do y'all think about his antics at all? Like,
I fear for his life now.
Personally, I just feel like he's living up to his name. You know, he's a cancer out here, so it's just that's how I see it. Living up to his name, he's living up to his snitch moniker. The first thing he did was find out somehow how to snitch on somebody, right?
It hurts me. It hurts me as somebody who really loves and values music and artistry to see somebody who just takes the whole situation for granted and for fame and for clout, and people are buying into it and supporting him with the listens whether they like it or not. It's something that I can't run from, that upsets me, and it upsets me that, I mean, I love this show and we talk about everything, but it upsets me that he still finds a way to stay relevant because the deepest part of me doesn't give a fuck. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this weird stuff. People are on lockdown at home, got nothing better to do than to scroll online, and he just provides so much drama, and our society has just completely soaked it up.
yeah, that's a fact. Moving on from the Snoop part of the incident, so now Tekashi 69 is claiming that Billboard is cheating, which I'm sure they fudge a number somehow, but we will never be privy to that information. But so the situation is apparently Tekashi 69's Gooba, he believes it should have been number one. It ended up at number three behind Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande's whatever song, and also Doja Cat and Nicki Minaj's Say So, at which landed at number two. He claims that their record label bought about 60,000 copies or something like that off of six credit cards, like that last hour of the night, and which is illegal apparently, and that all his streaming numbers are being counted, and this, that, and the third, and pretty much Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, and Billboard have all responded to Tekashi 69's claims. Justin Bieber saying, mention my name too, don't just come at her, because it's our song, not just her
And
song,
that's
it's our
absolutely
song.
100. Justin Bieber is, as much as Takashi gets recognition here, Justin Bieber is a worldwide fame. Takashi might
Yes,
be known other places for places that listen to rap still, but Takashi's not selling out stadiums and stuff in random places in Australia and, you know what I mean? Like anywhere. Bieber is on that level. So you have to include him. Like you're being a bitch for coming after Ariana and not including Justin Bieber if he's on the track.
yeah,
And then go backtracking a little bit, going after Snoop, and then his way of trying to justify what he's saying is true is doing what everybody is mad at him for already, snitching.
yeah, for
If
real.
what he was saying was true, you're continuing to do what we're mad at, or what people are mad at him for. Because before there's a snitching, there's crime being made. I'm against crime, so you're not gonna see me backing up no crime. But I'm also not a snitch. But I stay out of situations that put me in that predicament. You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
as for the music aspect of it and the Billboard stuff, there's two things I see. One is saltiness, and I'm okay with that. But it's the reason why. You're arguing numbers, which tells me you are a complete clout chase and you're not trying to hide it. Because if you really cared about music, you would have been satisfied with just having people listen to it, which is the argument that Ariana made online. She said, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy, blah, blah, blah. Whether she's being completely honest or not, and I think she is, I think she's definitely had some traumatizing things happen in her life to where she can learn to appreciate some shit. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to Mac Miller and her whole fiance thing flopping and all that.
And with
So
that
I don't
that
think
bombing
she's like,
too.
yeah, exactly. So I don't think she's exactly in a place to like be aggressive here. But somebody like 6ix9ine coming after you, let's be honest, it's gonna get under your skin. You know what I mean? So all these people who are clearly above him still feel the need to interact with him because they know that if they don't, they're pretty much just like seizing to his W. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah, I
hate
told
that.
I it does that's a really terrible situation to be in for anybody. It's kind of like one of those, if you don't respond, then I'm telling the truth things, and it's like,
Yes.
so you have to say something. And I definitely appreciated Justin Bieber and Ariana's words. I like that Justin Bieber kind of ran to her defense, and I'm glad that she defended herself and said what she said. She didn't come at him negatively or anything. She just, like you said, she said that she's grateful to be here. She said congrats to everybody in the top 10, even number 3. And like she said, it's, or like Justin said, it's both their songs, so that's both their fans coming together as one. And I think, like, and Justin Bieber and Billboard both talked about how he said it wasn't a trick, and it wasn't 6 credit cards. First of all, he said it was strategy. He's like, they released like a thing where they could get a I think like an autograph signature for like the album or whatever, like the last day of the like of like the day that would count for that week's numbers. And then at the last hour they released the final like numbers for them to like get the push ahead. He said it wasn't a trick. They both said it wasn't a trick, it's strategy, so that they can make sure they get number one. Nobody else is putting out anything. All right, bam, here's 60,000 more copies that we had in the tuck, just in case somebody else was going to try to throw something out there, but so I mean that's on him. And
I want to know who's
or go ahead.
Tekashi's uh, informant, because I don't know
I'll
how.
just come off for the
Yeah, because I
numbers.
don't know how the heck do you know all that money, all those album sales came from 6 credit cards? Who told you that?
I don't know that either. I believe Billboard responded to that to a degree, because it's like there's like legalities and like laws and stuff like that preventing that from. It's like you can't buy more than 4 copies of an album with a single credit card. Otherwise, the rest of them don't count.
Here's
First and foremost, and
I
then
don't question it though because Tekashi or Daniel Hernandez, whatever, he's not an idiot. He's a smart guy, but he puts his knowledge in places where morality doesn't take place, if that makes sense.
like a
So
super
like
villain.
yeah. So like there's plenty of people in this world who are smart and capable, but he uses his to his advantage for fame, even though it put him in real trouble, like prison. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to say because I feel like he should have got out of prison because he's not really a threat to people, but his actions are a threat to himself and a lifestyle. So I think he should have did a lot more time just off of that alone. Cause this shit right here is not gonna stop. And if people allow him to continue to be a nuisance in the streets, there's not a courtroom that's gonna lock you up for that because then I could just go complain. This person's annoying, this person's bothersome. Can we lock them up? And he's pretty much found a loophole to let me do all this shit, let me get off with it. Who cares about being a snitch? And I'm gonna keep doing the minor things that people don't like for fame, even though it's not crime.
Yeah.
It's annoying, bro. It's just it's a nuisance pretty much.
And to wrap it up, Billboard kind of said that, excuse me, that all the numbers that he's putting up are for like global streaming, so that the numbers that they counted for the number one is for the domestic US charts. So they're number one in the US, not necessarily the world, but whatever. I guess that's like the one big flaw that I did see in Takashi's argument. He said, like, they said YouTube doesn't separate the global numbers of views and the US numbers of views. So we can only count certain amounts of views from YouTube or whatever. I'm sure they have access to either, talking to the execs at YouTube. They probably distribute their numbers like
You
with
know what else is
Spotify.
crazy? I feel like nobody's really putting real game in his ear because think he always every time he tries to be like humble and tries to show his other side and he tries to give money and he tries to post a video about how compassionate he is and blah blah blah. He always goes back to this is where I grew up. We had nothing, blah blah, this and that. So why are you trying to continuously prove yourself to people who don't come from the same background as you? Why are you trying to prove to Billboard people who've been had money and just create these numbers and statistics and say who's good based off of statistical things, but you're not really doing it for yourself and from where you from? You know what I'm saying? Like there's all type of different aspects to it, and I'm just over it. and I feel like he needs a good ass whooping. He needs to
Yeah.
get slapped up.
Totally forgot about the whole him trying to donate to like the feeding the children of America or whatever the heck it was, and they didn't take his money. But then they said that it wasn't all money isn't good money. It's a rabbit hole with Tekashi. Y'all know he's kind of like a mad genius, and we just kind of we're gonna keep seeing his name probably for a while, especially while we're just all sitting at home and he's also sitting at home making music videos, making music
He's
or
a
whatever.
cancer.
Um, yeah, basically. Gotta like cut that thing out or something. I've been watching Parasite the anime, so
You gotta
might have to
also
just put his name out.
understand the amount of sack that he shows because his life's at risk at all times now. People really dislike him and his choices. But that's also because he has so much fame, and I don't like to call it good fame, but it is what it is. He's so well recognized, not only just because the hair and the face stats, because of his actions. A lot of people wouldn't dare get close to him,
That's true.
you know? So it's gonna take a very strong-willed person to really make something like that happen, but he's a marked person for sure, and I think as fast as we are to blackball people in the industry for a lot lesser situations, this is the person we should have really cut the plug with. We disowned this guy. We disowned other people for having whack music, not for being a whack person till later on. I mean, people stopped listening to Soulja Boy.
For real.
And he was an entire wave for like 5, 6, 7 years. You know what I'm saying? We stopped listening to a lot of stuff.
And he had
But
a game console. And speaking of games, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2
there
and
we
1
go.
are getting
Transition.
re-released. Remaster, boy. How y'all feel about that? Coming out in
I'm
September. September 4th
geeked,
for the
bro.
schedule.
I'm so geeked. These were my favorite games when I was like 10 years old. And just
The
think back
soundtrack
then,
fire.
the soundtracks was heat, and back then we thought the graphics was okay. Could you imagine it now with some good graphics?
We
Yeah,
can because
yeah,
they
I'm
dropped the
waiting.
trailer. That's what I saw that. Like I heard the game was coming out. I was excited. Then I saw the trailer and I was like, well, it's the same game. They just made it look like it came out this year. So I'm
Hell
like
yeah.
super excited. I told everybody at my church, like, oh, y'all can catch the face September 4th. I don't even care. I'm definitely gonna have to sacrifice the game, figure out which one. I have way too many
y'all,
as it is. I'm just gonna have to sacrifice, figure out. It's probably gonna be the Call of Duty. Sorry, Call of Duty.
y'all remember playing Skate on Tony Hawk Pro Skater and just having a super long combo because you just keep ollieing and grinding at the last the last 5 seconds and just let it play on for five
Oh yeah,
minutes.
there was
Oh,
that glitch at the end. All you had to do was manual. If you manualed, if you could balance
Yeah,
it,
what yeah,
you
as long as the trick's going. That game was awesome. That shout out to Tony Hawk, and by the way, his mom lives in I believe she's in, like, a community area, which is down the street from my workplace, Carlsbad, California. So
yeah,
Imma see if I can catch Tony Hawk
they all lives out there.
somewhere.
He lives. I was looking at there earlier today. He lives in Encinitas, and his actual shop where they make the game and all that is right there in Vista. It's a real
Oh,
oh
spot,
yeah.
wow.
and he has a number that you can call if you're like a developer, if you have an idea about a game or something like that. You can call and you can actually get to talk to him.
Shout out to Tony Hawk, man, Mr. 900, San Diego County legend. You know what I'm saying? We're blessed to have that. Skateboarding is not a little deal in San Diego. Skateboarding is huge out here, whether you recognize it or not. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
There's
I'm
skate
geeked
parks
for the game.
Hey,
everywhere.
do a kickflip.
Oh, hey, you ever yelling poser just
Yeah,
because?
Yeah.
They could have been good or not. We just know we like messing with people. Poser, bro, bro, bust the heel flip right now, bro. Bust the heel flip.
um, In other gaming news, Sony also announced that PlayStation Studios, and they also showed their opening animation. It kind of reminds me of the Marvel Studios logo, where they just have like a bunch of their games playing throughout the symbol, and it's basically going to be used to let the audience know like this game came from PlayStation. It's not from whatever else. It came from PlayStation. This is our baby. This is our creation. So it'll be used for like titles like Call of Duty, Uncharted, etc. There's a bunch of games that PlayStation has exclusive rights for and stuff. So be on the lookout for that in the future. And PlayStation's always going to win that war with Xbox. So let's just remember that one. In sports, real quick, we got some it's a little old, but Mike Tyson was out here looking like a whole silverback gorilla, ready to knock somebody's head off.
I'm
And
ready to, I'm ready to step back in the ring and do what I do. Tell Evander to meet me in the ring.
boy, that man looks like he'll punch like a tank. I swear, like
I
your
am
whole body will lift off the ground and fly away.
absolutely terrified of Iron Mike Tyson. That is still one of the most feared people on the planet, bro. I'm sorry. He's gigantic. He's fast. He's how old is he now? He's 50
He's like,
something.
I think he's like 53 or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. For knocking dudes out over the age of 25, bro.
And
Sorry.
still is the only person to this day to actually beat Ip Man. I'm just saying.
I was just about to bring that up. If you've seen Hitman 3, he looked like a whole monster in that film. That was crazy.
We
Man.
would see Mike Tyson in a lot more movies if he didn't talk like this, like if he actually talked how he looked, if he looked a little tougher the way he talked. But
He had to speak Cantonese for that film, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he
Crazy.
did.
I love Mike Tyson, man. He's become quite the personality, and
Absolutely.
he's also a very he's open with his marijuana use, and he's got that Tyson ranch that was set to open recently. I don't know if it has or if it's going to, but he has a mile-long lazy river, and he's got a concert hall, and he's got, like it's a weed
Fuck.
paradise
Oh, he
in
ready. He ready
California.
to be a
Oh,
Yeah,
that
millionaire.
thing closed
yeah,
now.
he's and I think maybe that's why he's getting back into boxing because I think it might have really helped his body and his mind,
Yeah.
who
It's
knows?
always good to see people who like kind of fell to pretty dark depths as far as their career or in like, social status. And they're able to come back up and have like a thriving career or a more fulfilling career and then not be so tarnished by their past.
Yeah.
That's always a nice story. Another example may be like Mia Khalifa or something.
I was not aware. Wait, look, I knew she went down, but I didn't know she had a downfall,
Wasn't really a downfall. It's just the start of the career probably wasn't the most bright, if you know what I'm saying. But she's definitely more of a respected personality than she was back then. I would say.
What's she doing
She
now?
had her own little show for a while. Right now, I don't know what she's actually doing besides her social media stuff. But I know she was on like a sports show with Gilbert Arenas and some other guys for a while, and she's done a couple like commercials and stuff. So she's
Gilbert Arenas
definitely.
is Gilbert Arenas is the dog. I know what she's up to. What else we got?
And then in other sports news, though, NFL players DeAndre Baker of the New York Giants and Quentin Dunbar of the Seattle Seahawks, and a third individual committed a robbery where they robbed people at gunpoint, taking about $12,000 in cash and $2,500 in watches.
Allegedly.
They escaped in three separate. Allegedly, yeah, we'll throw that out there. Allegedly, they escaped in three
Allegedly.
separate vehicles: a Lamborghini, a Mercedes, and a BMW. So
What's a legend about a Lambo? These guys are in the NFL making millions. The signing bonus that they all got was bigger than the money they took that day, plus the 25 grand in watches. I'm sorry. This is a broke ass move. What is wrong with y'all? Come on, man.
for real,
Come on. You can take folks out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the folks. You know what I'm saying?
which is
They
just
already
wild.
chalk it up.
I just don't know how you would risk that your future for that. And I mean, I think one of them turned themselves in, right? Or did they both? Excuse me, did they both turn themselves in?
From last I checked, it was two of them, and then one didn't. That's the last time I
Okay.
heard of it. It might be something different now.
Not to mention, Quentin Dunbar just went to the Seahawks from was it the where was he? The Redskins or something? I can't remember. Quentin Dunbar just went to the Seahawks via trade, I believe. And he's a top 5 defensive back. The dude's gonna get paid. Defensive stats prove that he was a top 5. I was listening and looking at some stuff. What are you doing, bro? What? And the getaway car is a Lambo, a Mercedes, and a BMW. Wow, really hard to spot in the street.
I feel like there's a ton of stories in the NFL that we're never gonna hear about, like probably just crazy wild stuff, and it's like we
Oh,
probably only get a fraction of it that make it to the news because like a civilian was involved,
for
they got in
sure.
trouble, like some bad happened, maybe somebody like lost their a horrible accident or lost life or something, but I'm almost certain that like famous sports players probably get into crazy situations just because of the fact that they're surrounded by people, lots of people every day. They got a lot of money. They're more than likely putting themselves in rooms with other people with a lot of money and just have wild situations. I mean, imagine what you can do in a room full of people with money. You know what the trouble you can possibly get into. You know, so it's just one of those things where I hope one day, like when like the sports like structure is kind of like crumbles and we kind of realize that other people should be getting paid all this money, that they start like having like little like 30 for 30s for the NFL or something, like the whole NFL, like, oh man, we was wilding out there, we was running, everybody was on coke, nobody even knew. Like,
Yeah,
like
that's what I was saying. If you watch that show, Ballers on HBO, it shows all the like behind the scenes stuff of what real NFL stories of stuff that's going on, but they changed the names and all that to protect
yeah.
the innocents. You know what they say, but but yeah, I could definitely see to that point of them being in a room with other people with money, like, yo, let's just go we have enough money to do whatever the heck we want to do. Let's go. We know they're probably drunk and this and that, but their lawyer says they have witnesses that can clear them of their case.
Oh wow.
So if that's the truth, then that means something else happened and we haven't heard about that yet.
It's also not hard to just pay somebody either to be like, hey, just let this go away. All right, for sure. No, I didn't even see him over there that night. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Okay, I'm just gonna break this down into some real street shit, okay? Because I'm not a criminal, but I definitely grew up with some. Lamborghini, you're looking at least 120,000, okay? Mercedes, depending on what kind of series, you're looking at least 50, 60,000, and we're talking about some NFL players. BMW, at the minimum 45,000. They said the watches was 25 racks and the money was 12,000. What? It's like, sorry, a tune-up on a Lambo is 12,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? It's so stupid that it's comical. Even if it was like a morality thing, like it was like oh, this is about honor or this is that and this is, you know what I mean? Then you don't really need the money. So why throw robbery into it?
For real.
If that's the case, we'll see how it plays out. But right now, it just sounds totally absurd and like a stupid move. I hope they didn't do it because it would just be the most asinine thing you could do.
Speaking of asinine things that somebody can do, AMC theaters have banned Universal Studios movies after comments that Universal doesn't need a theater system after the record breaking release of Trolls World Tour.
Ooh, that's tough. They're making that decision and that statement based off of that movie. What they don't understand is Trolls is popular because there's a lot of little kids at home not in school. If they were talking about a different movie, they wouldn't have no record breaking this and that. They're going off the weight of that movie, but hear me now and hear me well. They gonna wish they had Universal Studios movies because that's something that's gonna outlast Trolls. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I can almost guarantee you, Regal gonna play the, gonna play every Universal Studio movie, and I know Universal
Yes,
Studios, and I know
exactly.
Universal Studios got some good movies coming on down the line.
Exact from a business standpoint, not only are you cutting off one of your sources of revenue because of probably, like, I don't wanna call it personal differences, but what they think is we can still profit without you, but you're playing to your competition's strengths. Now you're allowing other people to get to offer something that you don't have. So your fan base for that is outros. So what are you really doing? It's, you know what I mean? Are they just tapping into a different market? We're only going online streaming. We're gonna become one of these sources now and not so much a company that just brings in all new films like movie theaters and drive-ins and stuff, you know? I don't
What's
know.
that saying? Cutting your nose to spite your face or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
In other movie news, Robert Pattinson is not working out currently for the Batman role. He says he doesn't want to start a precedent, which I'm assuming means like he doesn't want to make that the social norm, which is entirely ludicrous because even the most skinny character, which is Spider-Man, who's like, as a superhero, is fairly skinny, even though he's like shredded still. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, they all have, made sure and stayed in shape in order to play the superhero role. Obviously, we had Ben Affleck playing the Justice League, which we'll also talk about that in a second. But he worked out in the movie and he worked out for the role of Batman in Batman vs Superman and in Justice League. I don't really see how that works with no looking the part, I guess, to a degree. You know, it's superhero physique. It's just kind of what we come to know and not necessarily love, but it's just what we've known. You know, like this is what Batman looks like. The Batman is supposed to be the epitome of human, not perfection, I want to say, but just like physical, physical prowess. He's he's as good as you can get in the body he has to be able to compete with all these people who have superpowers and can run really fast and fly and have super strength or whatever. He needs to be able to keep up that his body, and he needs to keep up his shape so that he can compete with all those guys, So
It's
I don't know.
they've been on this agenda for a while of taking like the big strong, the typical masculine characters, and weakening them down or to some degree. They did that with Thor. They made him fat and they made him super emotional the entire movie. And now all of a sudden I don't want to set a precedent. It's like, come on, bro. We know you're just setting up this agenda, this body acceptance movement that's going around, whether they're big, whether they're small. Oh, you're enough as you are. It's like, no, 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 no. Not with Batman. Batman is a human. That dude needs to be working out in the gym every day to keep up with Superman and all them dudes in DC Universe. You're not going to convince
You're
me.
not
Not going to
exactly
convince me otherwise.
speaking facts right there because you're an actor. You're portraying somebody else. You're we don't care about how you feel as a person outside of that movie. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why it's called a role. When you agree to a role or you're gonna be somebody, it's not so much, oh, let's make him this because people appreciate that. Let's make him this because people need to learn how to accept. No, that's not what movies are about, fam. Like Batman had to be in tip top shape. Why did he work out so hard? Why did he study so long? Why is he so accurate with his his tools and stuff? You can't just be a
Yeah.
whatever body person and keep up with that. You know what I'm saying? He has, like you said, he's competing with people who have supernatural powers. This guy lives with his butler. You know what I'm saying? like what do you mean, bro? You gotta they need somebody who's jerked. And that's that. Batman is yoked, you know? So I don't know where they're going with that concept, but I don't like
Damn,
it.
you saying yoked totally gave me a flashback to fucking Workaholics, man. I miss that show so much. I'm yoked.
For sure.
And speaking of the Justice League, though, apparently we're finally getting the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, meaning that we're going to get the original film that we were supposed to get instead of the one that we were introduced to globally. And even that whole what was there, like a director's cut version of that. We're gonna get the original film that we're supposed to get, and I have a theory that if it's good enough, it could maybe save the Batman and Superman that we've come to know and love. I mean, I don't know that anybody had a problem with Ben Affleck being Superman, and I don't know that I definitely know nobody had a problem with Henry Cavill being Superman, and people would like to see both of them return to their respective roles. But I don't think that Ben Affleck wants to do it mainly because of the reception he received. But I don't think that he did a bad job in the movie. I think that he did what the writers and the director asked of him. I think that's where the fault lies, is that the movie wasn't good.
And guess what? He got yoked.
Yeah,
Exactly. He got
big
yoked
props.
for the role.
Do what you gotta do, man. Hey, that's part of acting, and that's just part of work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm an actor, I would expect people to appreciate my work if I put real work into it. If you're trying to just please yourself and a few people, I'm sorry, that's not what movies is about. That's not what entertainment is about. You have a lot of lines of work where what you do is self-fulfilling. The only thing about entertainment is it's only self-fulfilling when you're successful. The only way to be successful is to work hard and go through the process. If you're trying to cut corners and not get yoked to play Batman, I'm sorry, it's just not you then.
Yeah, for real. In other DC news, CW acquires the rights to Swamp Thing and will be airing season 1 this summer. Fans are hopeful that this will possibly lead to a revival and a season 2. I believe I spoke about this before on the show. I said something along the lines of Swamp Thing was basically given its first season and put on the DC streaming service, but it was like canceled before it was ever even released, which I don't even know how that's possible because you don't get ratings or reviews or anything. But I guess they didn't like the tone of the show, like the execs or whatever. So they decided to just cancel the show outright. And obviously, people in that industry care about money more than anything. So if the ratings are good and the money is looking good, I'm sure they're just going to be like, you know what, fuck it, just give it a season 2. So look forward to being able to actually watch Swamp Thing season 1, probably on Hulu or anything else besides the DC streaming service this summer.
I just looked that up because I've actually never looked into that Swamp Thing. I guess
Mm-hmm.
that the main actor that plays Swamp Thing, his name is Derek Mears, um,
Mm-hmm.
American actor and stuntman, often appearing in horror and science fiction titles. So I looked him up, and his mugshot is just this white bald guy, and he kind of looks like Dana Carvey in The Master of Disguise when he turns into that turtle. That's what that's what he looks like naturally, bro. So that's kind of funny. I just kind of wanted to bring that up. I just kind of went through that right now.
Um,
Turtle.
I just realized how much DC news that there actually is this week because I believe this is the last thing. Ruby Rose has decided to step down from the role of Batwoman. There's nothing to indicate really why she did this. People are alleging that maybe it might be due to the poor reception she received as a character and like kind of like the overall storyline. Apparently, the ratings weren't that good, even though they have been greenlit for season 2 and are expected to return during 2021. But there's not really anything to say why she stepped down. She says that she, took the decision very, uh, not that she took it lightly, but that she thought about it very seriously before she decided to do that. It seems amicable in both regards. She, thanked the studio and the production team and all that stuff for, being able to be a part of the project. And they also said they wish the best for her and thank her, for her, time with them or whatever. So, I'm sure maybe something will be revealed later in the future, some kind of drama behind the scenes. But as of right now, it looks like we don't have a Batwoman. And I don't know if you guys watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I've only mentioned it like a
99?
bajillion times on this. But Stephanie Beatrice, who plays Rosa Diaz in the show
It's my
Brooklyn
wife.
Nine-Nine, she put out a tweet saying it said like it was like a little star symbol, and it said starts reading everything about Batwoman.
Damn.
So it would be kind of cool to see her like
I
take
think
on the role.
I think she left the role of Batwoman because she found out Batman's not yoked no more.
He said, "My cousin ain't working out no more. I'm done with this."
Oh, cause of looking thin, I'm done.
I got bigger arms than you? Nah. I'm out of here.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is hilarious. I haven't seen all of the episodes, but I'll never forget that one where they had the lady trying to point somebody out, in the lineup, and
Oh,
then
then
they start singing. Oh my god! I watched it like 20 times over and over again on
Out of your sex tape.
Get
so 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 funny. Oh my god! What else we got, man?
man. And looks like Disney's also going to announce a new series, or they have announced a new series for Percy Jackson instead of the movies. I don't know if you guys remember, we got 2 of the Percy Jackson books translated into films. The second one didn't do that great. The first one did amazing. Well, it was amazing, obviously, enough to get it a second film. I read the books pretty much shortly after seeing the second movie, if I'm not mistaken. And I love that book series. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately, and because I would definitely reread it. But it's basically about gods and them having kids, and the story is centered around the kids. Percy Jackson, obviously being the son of Poseidon. There's basically three of the gods, Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades, are pretty much forbidden to have kids anymore. And they talk about their past kids. I think like they bring up Hercules and some other ones, but Poseidon and Hercules both have a kid, and then they're trying to stop the Titans. I think at the end of the book, it's like they're trying to stop the Titans from returning. It's almost like Harry Potter. He goes to a camp every summer or whatever, and then has his adventures with his friends, and then they stop whatever, and at the end there's like this huge giant climactic battle, and demigod children are utilizing the powers of their godly parents or whatever, and it's a dope series, and I wish that we would have got 4 movies and completed the series. But if we get a TV series and it's able to go further, I would appreciate that bet more. And just the fact that you'd be able to translate more of it. 4 seasons. Give me 4 seasons for the
Right.
4 books. I'm set. I'll be straight.
Get more story, and it says it's showing here. There's 5 books, but I don't
Is
know
there?
if one was a 2-part or something.
It might have been 5. It's been a while since I read them. I read them back in like 2014, so it's definitely been a
But wait,
minute.
you
But
said
They're really
You
great.
said Zeus is not allowed to have kids no more?
Well, yeah. So it's like I forget what the story is. Like I said, it's been a while. But Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus produce like the strongest children, and they're not allowed to have kids. And there's this thing like the kindly ones, which are like the Minotaur, Harpies, and all this stuff. They're not killable, and if you say their names, it gives them more power. There's like all these crazy rules, kind of like Harry Potter. There's all these different rules and teachings and stuff, and you learn more the more you read the book, obviously, and you kind of learn how more things work. And then, of course, it goes on. You go on this adventure with Percy and realize that he goes from this little boy that like kind of like Harry, he's like an outcast. He's not the brightest boy seemingly and things like that. But it's because he's not in his element, you know, he's not in his world. When he gets into his world, all of a sudden this kid becomes a superstar really fast. You know, he's like he's smarter, he's like super agile, he's way more courageous than he ever thought he was. He's like all the spells and like dizziness spells and all that stuff he has like going on. Like he doesn't have that, you know, it was tools utilized to keep him safe in his environment. But now that you know he's aware of the world and they're going to try to keep him safe physically, they're just like you need to know everything and we're going to train you to be as good as you can be. You know, so it's a great story. I definitely recommend it for sure. It's in my opinion, and I've read the majority of the Harry Potter books. The only Harry Potter book I didn't read, which I hate that I can even say this, I didn't read The Goblet of Fire and I didn't read the Deathly Hollows. Those are the only two books I didn't read. But in my opinion, that the Percy Jackson series like kept me entertained the whole time I was reading it. And I was like, I'm about to go read this Percy Jackson book. Like I remember being at the MWR in Guantanamo Bay in Cuba when I was out there, and I'd be chilling with my boys, and I'm like, I'm about to go back to my room so I can read this freaking Percy Jackson book because I was obsessed with them. I just really wanted to read them.
Uppity ass. Anyway, I was.
You know, I remember that first movie doing very well.
Yeah. It's fun too. It's a fun it's a fun read, and there were fun movies for sure too. Brandon T. Jackson was in it, you know. So I mean, definitely check the movies out if you guys haven't already, and I definitely highly recommend the book series. That's pretty much it, right, guys? You guys want to dive into something you're messing with so we can get out of here?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and start this one off since I've been waiting to get this off my chest. Uh,
Ooh,
if anybody, me with my conspiracy corner reading, y'all didn't get a conspiracy corner this week. It's all right. I got a couple coming next week for you. But I was watching this documentary on Amazon called Babylon to America, and I asked these guys, the rest of the guys in the show, Joey and Brandon here to take a look at it if they had the chance, so they could probably give you their 2 cents on it and everything like that. But if you're into like prophecy or anything like that, or just trying to see where how all this stuff is lined up to how the same way it was lined up in history, and like really putting puzzles pieces together and stuff like that with real life things that actually happen, check out Babylon to America on Amazon. How did you feel about it, Joy?
I mean, I'm actually surprised I hadn't watched it. It came out in 2017, and there was a part two, digging deeper into I can't remember what subtopic it was. Came out last year, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a lot of things that I had understood, but didn't couldn't connect the historical timeline to the prophecies and the things that I understood the beginning of life and how we've grown as civilization and fallen apart. So like being able to connect the timeline of the Bible at which you read it and of from different religious aspects and stories and things that have been passed down, it was very interesting. It was super informative, and it actually kind of brought me a extra like a extra some extra peace because me knowing that thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands a year of people being told something, creating a belief system, and just based off of location and where you happen to be at that point in time is what you know to be truth. You know what I'm saying? So like it really helped bring light to some situations in my life. I found myself being a lot less angry at people just off of this documentary. I won't lie, I found myself being a lot less angry at people so upfront because I realized that there's a learning curve in this life. And it sometimes it's a documentary and sometimes it's an entire life of pain just to realize you're on your deathbed and you wish you was living the life you would have if you would have known certain things. So I don't know, it's really cool to see historical facts and and ideas and documents come to light. And I'm glad I watched it though.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you watched it too. I was sitting there like, well, I hope one of them watches so they can have their mind blown a little bit by some of the stuff that popped up. Because even me being studying some of all this stuff like on my own, I was still sitting there shocked, like, yo, I didn't even know that was connected, this and that. But random
Yeah.
disclaimer: if you're Catholic and you watch this, there's going to be a certain section in there you're going to be real upset. This is just your warning.
It just really makes sense because in all forms of religion and in the Bible, you have a place where all of this originates, and that's in Babylon in the northeast part of Africa. You know what I mean? Like Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So anything outside of that claiming to be the epicenter of this beginning of life pretty much, I mean, it's hard to make the argument, you know what I mean? Because it's in everybody, it's in your Bibles, it's in here where things happen, but all of a sudden you're living in Rome saying that this is the Holy Land. It don't make no sense. So, you know what I mean? Like, so, and it's crazy because they did a very good job of setting up informative situations. So you were it was unfolding in your mind before the guy in the documentary explained it. So it really comes to life in your mind, which I think they did a good job of. I really wish the guy had a little bit of a smoother voice. You know what I mean? I think he was repetitive a little bit, but other than that, it was a great documentary, and I don't know, I feel like I learned a lot from it. And I actually got one of my friends who's what's the term, agnostic,
Uh huh. Or what?
to kind of watch part of it with me and kind of like so I could explain certain things and like feel this out. Like even if you're just looking at it from a factual standpoint, you know, timelines and this and that. And these are documented wars and people that were separated and brought together. All those things that are documented that science can't even disprove. You know what I mean? Um, Everything just kind of falls in line. So it really is gonna raise an eyebrow, even if you don't want to believe in God or prophecy, or even if you Big Bang theories and all that stuff. It's gonna raise an eyebrow.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. I think you're up now.
Mm. I don't really know what I'm messing with. I got a few. I'll just drip a few things real quick. A few things I'm messing with. I got a few of the homies have started a Madden franchise league on PlayStation, and we just got started. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm messing with that tough. Um, I haven't gotten to see the new maps or anything in Call of Duty Warzone, but I look forward to that. Like I said earlier at the very beginning of the episode, one of the new albums dropping out is Larry June. He's quickly, I say quickly now, but I've been listening to him for about 3 years, I think. He's quickly become one of my favorite chill rappers. He's not always talking about too much, but he has these three topics, which is why Dom Kennedy, reaches out to my soul too. What I'm wearing, who I'm with, what I'm eating, what I'm driving. Every song is gonna give you the answers to all of those at some point, and they're super chill, especially when Cardo is making the beat. So I would go check that out. Larry June, he got a lot of the Bay Area sound and also Atlanta. I believe his parents are in both places, so that's kind of what he does. The tape's called Cruise USA by Larry June and Cardo. So I was messing with that album. I should go check that one out.
All right.
For sure. And I guess that means I'm up. Something I'm messing with real quick is pretty much in a little announcement that I have for you guys. A good friend of the show, Gilbert. He likes to trash talk a lot. I'm sure Joey's aware of that. I'm sure Daniel's aware of that. He is a part of their Madden franchise that they've created. I'm sure they're also going to play a couple one-on-ones in the meantime too, and more shit talk is going to happen. He claims that I cannot beat him in Mortal Kombat unless it's a bad day for him, otherwise known as him being drunk. Um, Kind of wiped the floor with him already, and I just keep in mind I just got the game, so this Sunday, more than likely you might be listening to this on a Thursday, maybe it's sometime in the future, but whatever it is, be sure to follow me on twitch.tv/Taylor Earth's Hero. My name on Twitch is Taylor Earth's Hero. It's pretty much my name pretty much everywhere. And on Sunday at 6 p.m., which is what day is Sunday? Today is the 19th, right?
No, today's the
No,
20th.
today's the 20th. Today's the 20th. So Sunday is the 24th. So Sunday the
Yes.
24th at 6 p.m., I guess Pacific Standard Time, I'm about to be serving these hands to Gilbert on the sticks in Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna stream it. Y'all gonna see my face. Y'all gonna see the fire, the intensity, the aggressiveness that I give him, and he ain't gonna say nothing else no more. I'm gonna embarrass him in front of everybody, and he's not gonna say nothing anymore. That's what I'm messing with. Mortal Kombat, running his fade on Sunday. So
I'll be there.
tune in for
I'll
sure.
be there, especially since the following Monday, the day after the 25th, is Memorial Day. So I'm
Yep.
off work. I don't know if you guys are off work or if you guys are doing the OT in your
Yeah, we're
line
off
of
work
work,
too.
but yeah, so we got a nice little 3-day weekend for those of us in the office
For
work
sure.
environment world.
What's this? Is this something that's actually really weird for me? So I was going to ask you, Brandon, since you're military, why do we celebrate Memorial Day? Isn't that supposed to be like a sad day?
Yeah, to a degree, it's not necessarily a sad day, but it's more of a day of remembrance. You want to remember the fallen comrades, the prisoners of war, those that have fallen in the line of duty. It's kind of more like I don't want to say a celebration of life because I don't really think that people like really go out and celebrate like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not a time for you to say like thank you for your service to like your veteran friends. It's a time to be thankful for the freedoms that we have or are able or that people have laid their life down for or have been injured
Right.
for. That's who you want to be talking to or thanking to people who have had family members that have passed away in past wars, have worn the uniform, way back in the day, like back in World War II, Vietnam, have maybe didn't come home from Iraq or whatever.
Yep.
That's what we have this day for. It ain't for veterans. Veterans Day is way down the line, and we don't even get that day off in my company, which is cool. We don't need it, but this is a day to remember all those who have like kind of fallen or they've had they paid the price for freedom.
I like to give a little props on Memorial Day because I realize a lot of those fallen soldiers and whatever branch they're in, whatever their purpose was for our military, a lot of those people and their families today, a lot of those people were fighting for a country that wouldn't respect them on their own streets. So I gotta show love to um a lot of those soldiers and people who might not be, in this country, the right color to be respected at home. But a lot of those
Yeah.
people still fought overseas and still fought in other lands and died. So, I got to show props to them and their families for holding it down.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at my dad's flag from when he passed in January. So I was realizing earlier today, this is the first time Memorial Day like really hits home for me personally and all that. So that's why I even thought of that
Yeah.
question. I was like, why are people go out and have fun and go be rambunctious on a day like this? But I understand.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully
I
we
guess
can get outdoors and get some hot links or something,
I
though.
bet that holic don't see the inside.
I've been dying for a link, bro. Link up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, all right, Piglets. This has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. Remember, Piglets, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We hope everyone out there is staying safe, and if you can't be safe, be deadly. Catch you guys next time. Later, Piglets.
Man, I don't know about us calling everybody piglets. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad once said, "No, I'm just playing with you."
We don't like bacon.